Guys, it's your boy Cam, CTB, Cam Talks Boxing, back with another video. You saw in the thumbnail what is going on with Ryan Garcia, Golden Boy, Joe Goosen, Oscar De La Hoya. Something's going on. Do you think he will be leaving Golden Boy? And who do you think his next trainer will be? Will he change his trainer? Let's talk about it. Yes guys, let's go straight into it. So obviously I've woken up just now and I've seen quite a bit of news and rumours circulating about the situation with Ryan Garcia. And obviously this whole week there's been a lot of talk about something going on in Ryan Garcia's camp. Look, it started from the post-fight press conference where you didn't see Oscar De La Hoya or Bernard Hopkins, his promoters. He's obviously with Golden Boy, he's representing their brand, and they're not there. They came out and denied any rumours and said they had to get out due to security because they were receiving death threats. Obviously, I'm not sure how much to buy into that. I did buy into it at first, but now, obviously, Oscar came out in another interview in one of it must have been a Williams Zepeda fight, and Oscar said that they have a plan to bring him back to the top and build him back up. And then Ryan obviously come out and tweeted that he just wants to make it clear that he hasn't made a decision and he has a lot to think about going forward. Kind of hinting at the fact that it's no guarantee that he'll be working with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy going forward, or whenever apparently his contract runs out September 2024. So will there be a buyout? But the main thing is there is some tension there, and whether that gets resolved is another matter. If it doesn't get resolved, then my question to you guys is, who would you like to see him go to? I mean, if he's going to 140 pounds, I think it would be great to... I mean, Eddie Hearn, he's got some 140 pounders, and then he'd still be with the DAZN. Because obviously, if Ryan Garcia is still with the DAZN, in my opinion, the benefit for him would be that he's the face of the DAZN. He's kind of got that spotlight. Obviously there's Canelo, there's Joshua, but in terms of the up and coming fighters, Ryan Garcia is probably the biggest in terms. You've just seen how successful the pay-per-view numbers have been. So, you know, Ryan Garcia is the draw. He can become one of the faces of boxing going forward if he, you know, gets great wins and becomes world champion, etc. So I think he could go to Matchroom, but then what fights will he have? Obviously, I mean, Eddie has a couple of 140 pounders, to be fair. Some of them, like Hitchinson for example, some of them, you know, on the cusp of getting world title shots, so that might be an option. But then obviously some people think he could go to Showtime PBC with Al Heyman. Could he fight Rowley next, for example? See, that's the thing, there's options there as well. Who else do I have at 140 though? I'm not sure from the top of my head. I know Top Rank, ESPN, they've got a lot of 140 pounders. That might be a good option. But then that's the thing, we don't know. Because Devin Haney, I feel like he might go back to Eddie Hearn and DAZN. So when you put it like that, if Teofimo Lopez, you never know, if he beats Josh Taylor and he moves to Eddie and DAZN, obviously he's said in the past that he wouldn't work with them, so I don't know what on earth is going on with Teofimo Lopez. Would he go to Showtime PBC? Obviously I saw a tweet today, someone saying, why is he burning bridges at this point? It's not right. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, because obviously he's burnt some bridges with DAZN and he makes up with them. But back to Ryan Garcia, it'll be interesting to see. Look, we just got to go with the flow. We've just got to see what happens over the next few days, the next few weeks, months even, and see what happens, you know. Obviously, what I've read is they thought Ryan Garcia wasn't ready for the Tank fight, which deep down I kind of thought as well, because look, and hats off to Ryan Garcia. Look, he made that big fight, he wanted it, he called him out, he made that fight happen. But God, I do think if he had two more fights, like he came back against Fortuna, if he had another fight with, if he had like another fight with a Kambosos or Pitbull Cruz, or even a Rowley, or like a Jermaine Ortiz, or someone in the top 10, you know, those one or two more wins, and then imagine that Tank fight, then it'd be even bigger. Then it truly would have probably been a 50-50 fight. People are saying it's a 50-50 fight for just the fight was just gone, with him obviously just going straight in there, and just activity as well. Look, Tank he fought Rowley around the same time Ryan Garcia fought Fortuna, but then Tank fought in January against Hector Garcia. So it was smart of Tank. But yeah, I think Ryan needs to get active. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's going on with Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia. Look, it would be a massive loss and blow to Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. Look, you saw Leonard Edeby say that they've taken all his fighters. Golden Boy aren't the force they once were. Whether that's because they're not working with Showtime anymore. I need to really look into what happened, because it's interesting. Golden Boy, I remember they had all the fighters. They had Khan, they had Danny Garcia. They had so many fighters. They're probably not even the biggest ones. They had all the fighters were in there. Broner was in there. I remember. I think it was with on HBO boxing. But let's move on to the trainer situation. Joe Goosen's been quiet. We know there's something going on, there's something going on. Look, there's been a mole, there's been a mole in the camp, rather, and there's rumours about Joe Goosen. Like, Joe Goosen hasn't really come out and said much. There hasn't been much said about Joe Goosen, but at the same time, Ryan Garcia hasn't said much about Joe Goosen, but he hasn't denied anything. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out and, you know, clarifies things. But if there are talks about Ryan Garcia changing trainers, well, first of all, do you think he should change trainers? Do you think he should go back to Canelo team with Eddie Reynoso? The whole issue with that was, well, number one, there was some concerns from Canelo's team and Eddie, because they said he's not willing to train, he's not willing to put the work in. But I don't know how true that is, but obviously from Ryan's perspective is the fact that Eddie Reynoso is so busy with Canelo, etc., so he didn't have time for Ryan Garcia. If those guys can sort that out, Ryan did look good against Luke Campbell after he got knocked out, and he, you know, showed heart. He was sharp. But whether he can, I don't know, because it's easy to say it now. Look, a lot of people are saying he was improving a lot under Joe Goosen, so let's just see what the situation is. But if he was to change trainers, I don't know who would be a good trainer for him. I mean, he really needs to work on. He's got the power, so I don't think he needs to really focus on that, in the sense that his weaknesses. A lot of people say, yeah, you have to focus on your strengths, which, yeah, but in boxing you need to work. You can work on some of your weaknesses that will help you implement your strengths. That will tailor towards your strengths. You know. That will work best for your strengths, and his strengths are obviously his speed and power, but the fact that he's so long, he's got the reach. He really needs to improve his defense to an extent, and his footwork a lot. So it depends who he wants as a trainer. I mean, like someone like Robert Garcia, he's more of a brawler. He's more of someone who will, you know, fight on the inside, rough your opponents up, you know, that inside fighting. So I need to have a think about who Ryan Garcia could go to. I mean, look, I'll have to have a think about that. But guys, let me know who you think he could go to, what trainer, if it was to move. Guys, let's see what's going to happen with Ryan Garcia. But my question to you guys is, what do you think's going on? Will he change trainers, and if so, who to, and who would you like him to move to in terms of promotional companies if he does? Guys, I'll be back with another video. Talking numbers on the phone.